Mike, thank you for joining me. You are our sales manager at ASC Metals and you've been here for 36 years now, which is a long time.
It is.
One of our longest standing employees. So congratulations on that first of all.
Thank you very much.
How you joined ASC in the first place?
Well, back in 1989, I was moving up to Lincoln and I needed a job. So I went to an employment agency and registered myself, and they contacted me and said that we can arrange an interview with you with Mr. Tony Hall, so-and-so date. So I'd gone to work as formerly a postman at Bedford,
right.
And I left work at lunchtime, drove up the A1, come and had an interview with Tony, and it was a job for a driver stroke warehouseman. And I think a couple of days went by, and I was informed that I could take, the offer was there if I wanted to take it. And at the same time, I'd also taken a job as a window cleaner for a company in Lincoln, and I decided that going for the job at ASC Metals was more suited to me. Mm-hmm. So I had to tell the other company that sorry, but I won't be starting, and I had to leave an answer phone message, which I've always felt a bit guilty about, and this company's still going to this day.
Right.
But I think 36 years later I made the right choice.
I was going to say they're probably gutted.
Well, yeah, I'm not cleaning the shop windows in town.
So you started as a driver.
I did.
And then obviously you're now our sales manager, so tell us a little bit about how you transitioned.
Well, I started as a driver. I had no idea about the area at all, having previously lived in Bedford.
And this would have been before sat-navs?
Before sat-navs, it was the old-fashioned way of getting the map out and stopping and asking someone for directions. Mm-hmm. Mobile phones were big chunky bricks of things, and yes. In some of the trucks we had them, but you couldn't always get a signal. It was worse than what it can be now. And you used to stop and make sure that you got some change in your pocket and ring the customer or ring the office to say, can someone ring me back at this telephone box to tell me how I can get to this customer? I can remember doing that a few times, or ringing the customer direct. So, but then we had this big old British Telecom brick of a thing that was in the truck, and we could be contacted by the office or sort any problems out that may have occurred trying to do your deliveries. Deliveries were sort of not as big an area as what we cover now. And when we used to be part of a bigger group, we used to have some early starts and get down to Northampton for 7 o'clock in the morning, get back to Lincoln, unload everything, and then go out on your daily deliveries and can come back and get everything ready for the next day. And you could often finish quite late, so you could have some long days. But things have changed over the years.
It's amazing how technology has changed in just those few short years, isn't it? And the sat-navs and mobile phones and GPS systems.
Exactly,
and so on now,
quite a lot of difference. And then in 1990 we moved to a purpose-built warehouse, which has expanded since then, and the opportunity came up to become the warehouse manager, which I took, and that was always good, but it was long hours and hard work, and to say things were different. We didn't even have a mechanical coating machine for coating the sheets. It was a push it in one side and pull it out the other type of thing.
Yeah.
But so that's just one of the changes. And then I can't remember exactly what year it was, but the company was doing well and expanding, and the position came up to go on to sales. And I always remember something that my late father said was, you'd be better at using your head than using your hands. He says, you don't want to be like me, because he was a builder. Mm-hmm. He says, you can use your head. And I thought, I'm going to grasp the moment and give it a try. So it was really different, because you're going from doing a physical job to a bit more of a mentally challenging one.
Yeah. How did you find that?
Yeah, it was quite a big change at the time. But one thing that was good about it is that you could, when somebody rang you up and asked you or gave you a description of what they were asking for, you could visualize it. So say for instance someone said they wanted 300 mil of 6-inch diameter aluminium, you knew what that weighed roughly because you'd picked it up before, and you know, so if you were working a price out, you knew if you got it wrong because you thought, well, it's got to weigh more than that. That, you know, so that was an advantage of working in the warehouse beforehand. That when someone said I wanted an 8x4 by 16 gauge, which is the old imperial term now, you knew what one was.
Yes.
So it helped.
That experience from starting in the drive-in, starting in the warehouse, and then moving through to sales was kind of invaluable, really.
Yeah.
And the thing I love listening to you when you're talking about the jobs and the metals is, you know, you just know those sizes, those weights. You know it all. It rolls off the tongue. Yeah,
and that's it. I mean, not everything, but if someone asked me a price without having a computer in front of me, I could do the basics without a calculator.
So describe now, so we're now 2025, describe to me a typical day for you as sales manager.
Typical day. I normally wake up about 6, sometimes before, and your head starts buzzing of what's going to happen today. And my normal routine is I get myself ready. I'm fortunate enough to be able to log on to our system from work, and I will sit and have my morning cuppa, and I will clear any rubbish emails out and do any inquiries that are there, and then it gets to the time when I need to leave and come to the office, and then I carry on. And the day consists of all your inquiries, orders, and helping out the rest of the team with various queries, and they all come to me because I'm fortunate to have the 36 years experience, and for some reason things stick in my mind. Not particularly what I did earlier that morning, but if they ask me where to get something from, I normally can say, oh, try so and so. And then I finish at 4:30, drive home, log back on again, clear up the day's business, and repeat the next day.
And you were saying earlier that you would normally, over the weekend, you're even checking emails. You don't like a cluttered inbox.
No, I don't like a cluttered inbox. If a customer sends me an inquiry or an order, and I've got the free time and I'm available, I'll just go and have a few minutes and process it. And to me, it's a job done, and it just makes life easier for the next thing to happen.
And I've noticed, of course, as sales manager, you're working with a team, so not only are you doing your own jobs and inquiries and contracts and so on, but you're also listening out and got one ear on what they're up to and who they're speaking to on the phone and so on.
That's difficult, especially if you're in a fairly deep conversation with a customer, but you're trying to earwig what the others are saying, so that you can pick up on it and try and help them out with it. I think more so these days is that we have a good computer system where everything's logged, so I can catch up with it afterwards and then ask questions.
Yes, and that's again where the technology helps, doesn't it, in today's world, which is fantastic. Outside of work, Mike, what do you... you like your music, don't you?
I do like my music,
Who's your favourite band?
My favourite band is the Specials.
Right, okay.
I've followed them since I was about 9 years old. I've always been into that kind of music, and later in life, I think it was in the late 90s, I got involved with being admin on their website's forum, which is something that was before things like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all the rest of it. It was a fan-based chat room. Lots of different things came on, and you just sort of had the power to control it a little bit. And through that, there were some members of the band that were on there as well who put their input in. And over various things that happened, got to meet some of them. An unfortunate thing, but I felt a privilege to, was that I went to the drummer's funeral in London.
Okay.
And that was a very surreal day to be amongst all of your pop star heroes, members of the band Madness and various comedians, you know, and just people that you see on the TV.
Yeah.
You stood in the same room with them.
Amazing.
So yeah, it was a sad day, but an honour at the same time.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's just one of the things that
up there in the memory bank.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that's in the memory bank. There's quite a few that I could think of. When they did their reunion gig, which they did in 2008, it was at a festival called Bestival on the Isle of Wight, and it was all hush hush. And me and my friend who ran the admin side, we had the privilege to go, and we actually stood on the side of the stage. And this is the first time that this band had played live for 27 years.
Goodness.
And it was just mad. And there's some silly YouTube footage out there of some excited fans. Just things like that I've been lucky. They put me on the guest list for various gigs. I stood next to Tim Lovejoy, the TV presenter, on once, and he was in the queue for his guest list passed, but they couldn't find his name on there. But they found mine, and it just made me chuckle that he should have been a bit more recognisable. I've stood next to him again at the drummer's funeral, which was another weird moment.
Well, Mike, we're glad that you didn't get whipped up into the celebrity world and that you decided to stay here with us at ASC.
Well, yeah, exactly. It was always my fallback plan.
So before we go, just some really important questions that everybody wants to know. Is it tea or coffee?
I'm going to have to say tea, because it's just refreshing, and it's the first thing I do as soon as I wake up.
Good answer.
Yeah.
And finally, more importantly, Marmite, love or hate it?
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Good man. Mike, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you very much.
One customer said to me that they were getting a bit frustrated with another supplier because they didn't want to help. They didn't want to look and do a bit of work and a bit of research and try and help them.
Yeah.
So he actually said, well, we've got to know where home really is. And that's nice.
That's lovely, isn't it?
That's really nice.
Puppy dog in tow?
Oh yeah, well she loves it because she picks up all her P-mails and poostograms.
I never knew that was a thing.
It is.
Oh,
it
my
is
goodness.
in doggy world.
Oh my goodness me, you learn something every day.